last video, we talked about how fundamentally every website is just boxes and spaces. Today, we're gonna dive a little deeper. It's not just boxes and spaces. It's actually boxes and spaces that separate boxes and borders. And within the boxes, there's spaces, and then there's the content. So we're gonna explore the box model, and I'm also gonna give you 2 more extensions that'll help you understand the internet better. So let's go. I've had many great interactions with them, so I wanted to give them a shout out. I'm gonna show you guys, if you ever go into Chrome or Firefox, and it's even available on Safari, it's a little harder to find, but you have what's called this. It's called the inspect tool. This is the developer tool. Now, yes, this looks a little bit intimidating, okay, but I will use it to demonstrate certain things. What do we mean by boxes and then spaces between boxes and then spaces within boxes? So as you can tell, if you look here, this is your content, right? Photos, videos, text, etc. We've already established it's all boxes within a grid and there's spaces. So what I'm going to show you today is within every box, you can separate it into more boxes. So out of all this intimidating stuff that one day maybe I'll show you guys, you can separate every box into margins, borders, padding, and the content. So what do they mean? Margin is the space between boxes. Border is obviously the border, so the actual edge. Padding is the space within the box before you reach the actual content right here. So that's in a nutshell what the box model is. So within a box of content, there's all these 4 factors: the margin, the border, the padding, and all that. What programmers and web designers do is they play around with the padding, they play around with this, they play around with the border, they play around with the margin, aka the space between boxes. Now that we've established this, let's look at our first extension. The first extension, shout out my buddy Nate, common used extension that a lot of web developers, a lot of designers use. It's called Pesticide. And I actually used it in my previous video, but I didn't explain it because I was already explaining another extension. So Nathan mentioned, oh, Pesticide. And so I was like, okay, I gotta explain Pesticide. So this is a very, very helpful extension called Pesticide. Let's explore it. So this is called Pesticide. You can find it on the Chrome web store. You could probably find it in other browsers too, but I found it on Chrome. What it does is, if you remember from last video, we're able to do this. Remember this? So this was the Pesticide extension. What does Pesticide do? It shows you every single box within box. It basically allows you to visualize the layout of all the different boxes within this web page. We're gonna turn on that really intimidating little thing again, just to see how it matches up. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna look at this box. See, look at this box. We're able to break it down further into more boxes, like here. You see that? We're gonna look at here. Notice here, it gives you the sizes, right? This is the thing we're gonna explore later. The other tool is really good at showing. So basically what we're really good at with Pesticide is you can look at the layout, you can look at the grid, you can look at the boxes, and you can start looking at the alignment of things. If you notice, you see? It's all aligned. There's a reason they're doing this. It's easier on the eyes when it's aligned correctly. This is my little channel that I've been talking to you guys on. You see how it's all aligned? You see how much work goes into just making a quick little thumbnail? So this is really great to help you picture how a website is designed and laid out. If you really wanted to, right, you can test its responsiveness. I'm gonna do full videos on this in the future, but look at this. You can test how, you see, you can test how the boxes move when you're dragging the web page. And you can test when you're on a web phone, a tablet, etc. It's probably going to look more like this, right? So you can test how well-designed web page changes its layout based on if you're looking at it from a browser versus a tablet versus a smartphone, etc. The second extension is courtesy of my buddy Saddam, and I wanted to thank you, Saddam, for showing me this extension. So a lot of you have heard the word pixel. What the heck is a pixel? And I'm not the best person to explain, but I can show you how to visualize it. So this tool, besides showing what a pixel is, it's also going to show you alignment. So we're going to explore both of these things in this next extension. It's called Measure-it, and I will turn it on to show you what this does. So of course, we will take out some of this intimidating stuff. It's all going to make sense eventually, guys. This is all a process. We're going to turn off Pesticide and we're going to open up Measure-it. Check this out. So it's literally a ruler tool, but it shows you the pixel. So you can very quickly understand what pixels mean. You see? If you wanted to see what the pixel of this box is, you don't have to use Measure-it. You can very easily, as I showed you with this tool, you see, you could do this, and then you can see how much of the padding, what the pixels are of that, and then this right here, how much the pixels are of that. So the Measure-it tool can be used to determine the sizes of the boxes, but there's better things within every browser to show you. Besides understanding pixel-wise of whatever area you're highlighting, you can also start playing around with alignment. Check out the alignment here. So you can see that a lot of work goes into playing around with alignment. Notice thumbnail is aligned with all the other little buttons. We can go here. You see this? Look at YouTube and how it's all aligned. It's all aligned. Alignment, alignment, alignment. Why? Why do I keep talking about it? Humans are very visual creatures. The reason why alignment's so important is because the browsing experience of a person like me or you watching will be made much, much more pleasant if you limit the number of alignment points. This is one of the 101s in how to design a website so people spend longer on it because it's more pleasing to the eye. So now we're gonna put Pesticide and Measure-it together and show this. So we're gonna start with Twitter because Twitter aligns very well. This is the Pesticide app. Turn on Measure-it too. Look at this alignment right here. So this box aligns with this and this. You see that? So notice how much care was placed into one alignment point here for all of this. You can look here too. So if you look here, you notice every single tweet, there's an alignment here. So when you're scrolling down, there's this alignment here to make everything look more orderly. You see that? You can just start playing around, checking every website's alignment. So now let's go to YouTube. Let's turn on the Pesticide app, and then we can turn on Measure-it. You see, you could play around with this. This has its own little left alignment. Notice here, the thumbnail of your channel aligns left with the thumbnail of the video. So less for the brain to process visually. You see, if this were here or this were here, it would jar the brain a little. So now, what if I'm going to change the space between boxes? What if we do this? So now look at this. You can see from Pesticide that we shifted this space right here because there's a space here between the boxes. You notice if I turn off everything, see? It jars the eye a little, right? Get rid of this. So let's say we take this. We go like this. Look at that. You see that? So now it's not aligned anymore. We could potentially, just see, now we change this here. So then, I guess if we're going to change this here, right? We better change this one too. See that? You change that. And then we probably have to change this too. So we're going to go here. We change this, or actually, probably can't just change that. We got to change this entire thing. Right there. We got to change this. We go here. So we've changed that here, right? Look at that. We're kind of aligning that with this, right? So probably have to change this box right here. This looks like about 10. Like that. You see, so now we're kind of, and we can use the Measure-it to kind of mess around a little bit more. It looks like, yeah, it's a little bit more, maybe 12. Nah, 15 maybe. So we're just changing it by more pixels. You see this? So yeah, this looks about right. So we aligned it properly here. So now we're kind of aligning this in the middle of that. Whenever you're messing around, this is just your local browser. So you don't make any permanent changes to what other people see. So if we refresh this, it goes back to that. You see that? This is just the very, very beginning. What I hope you learn from this is boxes and spaces in a website grid. And within the boxes, there are spaces and borders and distances between the boxes and the stuff you're looking at. And then we explored different ways to visualize it through extensions. And the final thing we learned from this exploration, alignment matters. How things are aligned, how things are spaced, they affect how we see it, whether it's pleasant or not, whether we want to be on this website or not, whether it feels organized or not. What I hope we do with this series is we break down the mystique of the internet. What is the internet? It's got a design. It's got a method. It's got a madness. Let's keep going with this, and I will give you more explorations of the web in very different ways. Shout out also John. Thank you, John. You're great. So shout out Nate. Shout out Saddam. Shout out John. Also shout out Jordan. Might as well. Shout out Jordan. And shout out the first subscribers on this channel. Okay, guys, talk to you soon.